Hey everyone, what's going on? Thanks for tuning in to Relevant Jukebox, and today we're going to talk about my Alex G collection I got over here. And man, I've kind of gone collector crazy over his material. So I got a lot of stuff to show off here. I got cassettes, I have records, and I also have a couple CDs. But yeah, if you guys are familiar with Alex G and kind of like where he came from, you'll know that cassettes were kind of seminal in his development and like his physical media releases. Now, not all of his records are physically released, which is really unfortunate. I hope he does one day. But I got a good healthy amount of stuff. I don't have everything. I actually am missing the Salt cassette, which is like tragic. I've been trying to track that down for a long time. And I also don't have C-Sides, which is the CD release that was like randomly sold on one of his tours. I don't have that either. But I do get a lot of stuff to show you guys, so I'm not gonna waste any more of your time here. Let's just get right into it. Just gonna take a quick sip of my coffee first. So yeah, starting off with a really hard one to track down, super rare. It's probably got a couple bootlegs going around this, so be careful when you're buying this one, but Race. I do have the original cassette here. This was released through Gold Sounds Records, which is a label that is no longer around. Pretty DIY looking release here. It is hand numbered. I have number 13 out of 100. Paper labels, and it does come with this like, you know, printout sheet with lyrics on it. Take a look at that. So, you know, this was included, I mean, in all the original releases. So if you do see this pop up for sale online, I have seen bootlegs in the past, so just kind of be careful. But this is what it looks like. You're looking for like the Gold Sounds label. But pretty seminal bedroom pop album here. So moving right along, I do have a copy of Rules on cassette as well. Another fantastic release from Alex. It is on this like really cool like translucent green cassette shell. Only has labeling on one side. So if you are looking out for this one, that's what it looks like. Kind of has a cool picture on the inside. This is actually the album cover of a hidden Alex G album called Nothing. I don't know if you've been following his work for a little while. There used to be a Tumblr page called Unreleased Alex G that had a ton of his stuff. I got probably 200 songs from that Tumblr page back in the day, so and it's probably gone by now. Next up here, I have Trick. This is one of the more difficult ones to track down outside of the Salt tape. It's released on, again, another obscure record label that is no longer around. Let me see if I can remember the name of it on here, because I don't. Haze Tapes. They put out a couple things from him. There's another image of an unreleased album, Monster Head. If you guys are familiar, that one's really good. It has Nintendo 64 on it. But again, blue shell here. Kind of weird, it's got like the reverse labeling that's backwards on the other side, but paper labels again. But yeah, this one's pretty hard to track down. I think there's only 100, I'm not really quite sure. So next up, I have DSU, obviously. This first off is the reissue on Run for Cover Records. That was a red shell cassette. It does have like a continuation of the album cover on the side. I kept this one sealed because I don't really need to play that one because I do have one of the original Orchid Tapes releases, which is really hard to track down nowadays. Right there, you see the Orchid Tapes labeling on the side. It is a really, really lovely color, Kelly green shell. It's got labeling on one side there, which is really cool. And this one is hand numbered out of 100, but mine is extra special. I got Alex G to sign this one at one of his shows, which is really cool. It's got like the scribbly Alex G, just like he kind of wrote it on there. But yeah, he was kind of blown away when I pulled this out of my pocket at the show because he had like hadn't seen one before, which was kind of funny. But yeah, this one is my favorite Alex G tape that I own, for sure. Next up, I do have a couple copies of Beach Music. This one right here being the blue shell that was an exclusive to his Bandcamp, if I'm remembering correctly. Yeah, sealed on that one. Sold out really quick. And then I do have a Record Store Day exclusive from, what the hell year did this come out? I'm like forgetting off the top of my head. 2015 for Cassette Store Day. This is a yellow shell cassette. This one was kind of hard to track down as well. I had to find it on Discogs, if I'm remembering correctly. So yeah, two different versions of Beach Music. Not really my favorite Alex G record, but still an Alex G record. Next up, I have a couple versions of Rocket. So I do have the regular, I believe, standard issue of this one, which was a red shell cassette. This was sold through Domino Records, also on his website. It's got a cool little insert, some more imagery that I really enjoy. I know his sister does all the artwork, which is amazing because she is really talented. Really like the aesthetic on all of the art in his releases. And then I do have the Bandcamp exclusive from him that was on a randomly inserted color tape. So you could go crazy collecting this one. There's all different types of colors out there. This one's a magenta color. Looks like opaque magenta. But, you know, I kept it sealed because I'm a collector, you know. Next up, I have a couple compilations. One of them's pretty obscured. This one I tracked down through eBay. It's called Growing Up is Dumb, Volume 2. Now, you're probably like, why the hell do you have this one? Well, it has an Alex G track on it, believe it or not. The lead single on this one is Harvey. So this was a comp from, again, another obscured label, Lauren Records over here. You know, a lot of the other acts on this compilation I'm not too familiar with, and they didn't really go on to become like any hot names or anything that I saw, but it came with this really cool like little negative of a still of a film that's got a dog on it. It's like some Saint Bernard in it. And I really like that, actually. It's a cool touch. All right, and rounding out the cassettes, I do have another Orchid Tapes compilation over here. Angel Town 2. Awesome cover on this one. Another one that's hand numbered. I have number 72 out of 104. White Shell Cassette. And really beautiful labeling on this one. That's just on one side. But it does have Some Secret on here. Another like kind of like unreleased Alex G track. Love me some Orchid Tapes. It's too bad they're not really around anymore putting anything out. They've kind of just obscured themselves from the industry, it seems like. All right, moving right along here. I got a couple CDs. I have a promo copy of Beach Music. I don't really know why I have this. I think this might have been just, you know, one of those late night purchases that you're kind of like, what the hell am I doing back when this was coming out? But it's really cool. It has like all the labeling on it here and the timestamps and stuff like that. Some insert that it came with as well. It's like a promo flyer that's got the G-Man on it. Stuff like that. This is just something that's just sitting in my collection right now because I went crazy on Alex G stuff when I was really getting into him, which also leads to my next purchase here. One of the few, I'm not like a CD collector in any way. I guess if it has some kind of like rare quality to it and it's an artist I really like, I'll scoop. And this is one of those instances. This is a French release, I believe, of Trick. And I know there's one at DSU, but I haven't tracked that down yet. But this one comes on like Kutu, I forget what the hell the name is, the record label on this one. It's like Kitty Folk or something. I don't even remember. But it's kind of a rare one. It's a handmade cover. You can like kind of see here. I don't know if the camera will pick it up that well, but it's hand stitched together. And it does have an alternate album cover, which is cool. And the gatefold is kind of cool. I think this has got to be another one of his sister's paintings, but I haven't seen it anywhere else except for this CD release here. Pretty cool with the flower and like the lion taking a drink out of the water. Or the tiger, excuse me. But yeah, really cool imagery in that one. So that's why, you know, this one stays in the collection. Kutu Folk Records, that's what it's called. I don't know. Never heard of that label before. All right, so next up, we're just kind of getting into the vinyl releases here. I do have them kind of separated by chronological order. So starting off, we're gonna go through Rules. I do have just the standard black LP issue of this one that was put out through Lucky Number Records a couple years ago. You know, nothing too special about the packaging. It is a heavyweight vinyl, though. It feels like it's 180 gram. It's got to be. I don't remember if it is or not. I think it is. And moving along from there, they did drop a colored press of this that Alex G sold through his Bandcamp. I think it was 300 copies. I kept this one in the shrink wrap, but I'll pull it out for you guys if you want to see it. It is on a nice, like, translucent purple vinyl, which is really cool. Same labeling, but, you know, I saw this was going up for sale on a limited press on color vinyl, so obviously I had to scoop that. Next up, I got a copy of Trick here. Same idea. This is the standard black pressing that was for sale through Lucky Number that I think you can probably still get. I mean, they pretty much sold through a lot of them at this point. black vinyl, so I won't bother pulling that out. Nothing special to really show about that one. And I do have the colored reissue that came out of this as well. This same idea. This went up one day randomly on Alex G's Bandcamp that he had limited presses. I think this one's 300 as well. And it's a cool blue translucent vinyl, so love this one. Really, really nice. And next up, I have a decent amount of presses here of DSU, so forgive me here. I went collector crazy on this. I don't have every single one. I kind of stopped because I know it was reissued through Run for Cover Records, and they put out a bunch of different cool presses, but I only picked up one of them. But yeah, this first one right here is through Orchid Tapes. This is the Alex G record, in my opinion. Still is his best one. This is the one that really like introduced me to his world. Love this album, love the artwork. Now this one matches really well. It's really cool. It's on a Kelly Green translucent vinyl. I believe out of 125. That was sold through Orchid Tapes originally. This is just like a stellar looking release. I mean, the way the green matches the cover art is perfect. Really, really cool. And next up, I do have the other first pressing over here that's on purple translucent, if I'm remembering correctly. Yep, purple translucent here. Pull it out for you so you can get a look at that. Really cool stuff. Another one to 125 originally. Now, I will track down a test pressing of this one day. There's like 5 of them, I think, so it was like every 50 records that were sold through Orchid Tapes, they included a test pressing randomly. So I actually didn't buy these originally through Orchid Tapes. I had to pick them up through Discogs, so still on the lookout for a test pressing of DSU, because I would definitely add that to my collection. All right, next up, I have the second pressing that is on double mint green and deep purple color in color, if I'm remembering correctly. Yes. Yeah, this is one of the really, really cool looking ones here. So you can see it's got a color in color. It's like deep purple with like mint green. This one is beautiful. This one's a really awesome looking pressing. To 250, I believe, is what this is limited to. Again, another one I had to scoop through Discogs actually aftermarket, because these guys sold out really quick a lot of the times, and I was like just getting into DSU right after this dropped, maybe a couple months later, and a lot of this stuff was already gone. I also have a third pressing of this. This is the Grimace purple and green color in color pressing. So similar to the other one, but a little bit different in its colors. So you see the purple's a little bit more vibrant, and the green is very deep color green. Another really cool looking pressing over here from Orchid Tapes. I really love these color and color presses because, you know, when you see them, they get pressed, like it's always like random. It's like all of them look different. Moving along from there, I do have just like this is just like a standard black issue from Lucky Number. You can kind of see there. Nothing really special about that one. Not really sure why I even included that one in here, but it's in the middle. I do have the tour pressing of this one as well. This was limited to 100, and it's on Oxblood. No, not Oxblood. It's on Translucent Red. Yeah, Translucent Red. I picked this one up at one of his shows as a tour pressing. So this one's actually one of the more limited ones that you can pick up, or limited variants. Yeah, I don't know. This one doesn't really sell for as much as some of the other ones, though, which is interesting. And last for my copies of DSU, I did pick up one of the Run for Cover issues. This was the more limited one that initially went up, I believe. It's another color in color. It's Oxblood and White. I don't remember how many of these were put out. I want to say it was like 300 or something. I don't know. You can let me know in the comments below if you remember how many of these were out there. But another cool one, you know, there is like a clear with gold splatter, I think, that was also pretty limited that he sold through the tour. That was like a Run for Cover one. And then there was like a clear one too, I think. But I kind of cooled off on going collector crazy on a lot of different artists, actually. Just because I don't know. I don't really need like a million copies of all these different records, but yet here I am showing all of you guys. Moving right along here, I got a copy of Beach Music. This is the limited pressing that came up for sale through Domino. This was his Domino debut. Really cool moon on the back. And it is on a translucent blue. Or no, not translucent, sorry, it's opaque blue. Really cool. Fits the album cover pretty nicely. And it does come with a bonus 12-inch over here, live at the Headroom, which I believe this was the only way you could purchase this 12-inch here that came with it. And it does have some live takes and a couple B-sides, if I'm not remembering correctly. Yeah, it's got a couple, like, you know, non-album tracks, but live at the Headroom, pretty cool. Pretty cool thing that they included, and it wasn't really, like, a lot extra to buy this. So you pretty much got, like, 2 different releases in one, which was really cool. Next up, got a copy of Rocket. Another really solid album from Alex G. I really enjoyed this one, even though, you know, stylistically it's a little all over the place for Alex G even. Which a lot of his records are kind of like that. Gatefold on this one. Woo! Nice little image on the inside. You know, it's got the lyrics. And if I'm not mistaken, yeah, this is a translucent red vinyl. Pretty awesome. Pretty thick. This has got to be 180 gram. I don't remember. But the labeling on this is just so nice. It's really simple, really clean. Looks awesome. Sounds awesome. But, you know, another really good Alex G record. Getting to the home stretch here, I got a copy of House of Sugar. Definitely not my favorite Alex G album, honestly. I do enjoy it. There are some pretty good tracks on here, but there's some misses, too, I think, for Alex G's standards. This is the limited purple marble pressing, which is, oh my god, it's just gorgeous looking, honestly. I mean, the little streaks in there. Really, really deep, nice color purple, too. Loving this pressing here. I mean, it's beautiful. I mean, you can't really argue that. It's just like the art direction on all of his releases are just awesome, in my opinion. And this one came with a bonus 7-inch as well. It's got a couple alternate takes, and then it has a non-album track on it. Fell. I haven't listened to this 7-inch. I am admitting it. Haven't popped it in. I remember like getting this in the mail, and yeah, I don't know. I didn't really feel the need to revisit it too heavily just yet, but you know, one day I'll sit down and listen to that. And lastly, rounding out these 12 inches here, a more recent release, which is Alex G live at Third Man Records. Pretty cool, pretty solid track listing on this one. It does have Nah on the back half, which is awesome. Again, another one I actually have not sat down and spun yet. I just bought this when it came up because I know that I was going to want to listen to it. Just a black vinyl, which is really cool that they released this, you know, Alex G at Jack White's studio, record label place, whatever you want to call it, like a fantasy world for record nerds, Third Man Records. And rounding out my Alex G collection here, I do have a 7-inch. It's on the rarer side from another defunct label, Bird Tapes, but a split with R.L. Kelly. This does have Magic Mirror, Adam, and Trade on it from Alex G. It's a nice little press here. It's on green and purple split colored vinyl. Really awesome. You know, Bird Tapes has a few other releases that I'm after still. It's kind of sad that they're defunct as well, but, you know, hey, it is what it is. I used to run a label, so I know what that's like. So, yeah, that rounds up my Alex G physical media collection. Still on the hunt for some stuff, but hope you guys enjoyed this video. Maybe you saw some things you didn't see before. So, yeah, I mean, if you like this video, I'd really appreciate it if you drop a like down below. And if you want more content from me, make sure to hit that subscribe button. Peace.